Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Fredericksburg. We are situated on the ancestral homeland of the Rappahannock and Patawomeck tribes, and where enslaved people were forced to work on the land. We acknowledge that this land holds many histories, great stories, and the blood of a people. In case anybody was wondering. Good morning. Sorry. Well, you should be happy then. Good morning. I am Ed Rodriguez, he, him, and I will be your worship associate this morning. If you are joining us as a guest or first-time visitor, we are glad you are here. You are invited to leave your contact information at the welcome table in the foyer. We look forward to getting to know you. Everyone is invited to fill out a card about a personal, significant joy or concern that you would like shared during the service. You may pick up and leave your card at the Joys and Concerns table at the back of the room. Our pastoral care team member will collect the cards and read them later in the service. Here at the UUFF, we strive to nurture learning, inspire spiritual insights, create compassionate relationships, and lovingly transform our community and the world. Please join us after the service for coffee and conversation. Now, I invite all of us to greet one another. People online, if you are muted, your audio or video, please take a moment now to unmute so that we can all greet one another face to face. Hello, everyone.
Hi, me and my niece.
Heard somebody.
I want to sit
So
here.
good to have everyone here today.
So welcome, everyone. Good morning. Awesome. It is a good morning. It's a nice sunny morning. It's a little crisp. Feels like winter already. We still got a couple of days before officially is winter. I'm so glad you braved the cold and came out. My name is Reverend Doug McCusker. I am the minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Fredericksburg. I use pronouns he, him, his. And I am really delighted to have all of you here. Current president of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations. She writes, a key characteristic of Unitarian Universalism is our affirmation of a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We have no creed, no litmus test for belonging. We encourage everyone to bring their doubts and questions, their evolving system of beliefs and spiritual practices, and the gifts of their own experiences and perspectives. We are lifelong learners, and all of these enrich our collective spiritual journey. The sources of our inspiration are broad. We draw from scripture and science, nature and philosophy, from personal experience and ancient tradition. We remain ever open to new revelation that can guide us into deeper engagement with our own spirit and greater understanding of humanity and the world around us. Ours has never been a monolithic faith. It's one of the reasons we refer to Unitarian Universalism as a living tradition. We are people of all ages, coming from many backgrounds and holding many beliefs. Our faith does not guarantee that everything will be all right if we live by a certain set of rules. Instead, the hope and courage we receive from worship, religious education, community, and social justice efforts call us out of our self-centeredness and fears to a larger commitment beyond ourselves. Come, let us worship together.
Please join me in reading our chalice lighting words, which are found on the screen. I'm trying to slow everything down. That'd been great if my timing would have been on. On the screen. In these hard times, let us look first to the response of love. In the midst of challenge, may our chalice flame bear witness to the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. In the midst of uncertainty, may our chalice be a beacon of encouragement, that our values may guide our choices. Let us look first to the response of love.
And our opening hymn today is 55 in the gray hymnal, Dark of Winter. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing. Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a soft and song of love eternal. Gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me. And then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
Today is the first day of Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. Actually, it begins at sunset. Hanukkah is a Jewish festival commemorating the recovery of Jerusalem and the subsequent rededication of the Second Temple in the 2nd century before the Common Era. The Talmud says that after the forces of Antiochus IV had been driven from the temple, the Maccabees discovered that almost all of the ritual oil had been profaned. They found only a single container that was still sealed by the Jewish high priest with enough oil to keep the menorah in the temple lit for a single day. But miraculously, it burned for 8 days. To commemorate this miracle, Jewish people around the world light a candle each day for 8 days, singing Hanukkah songs, playing games, and eating traditional foods. We have several families in our congregation who celebrate Hanukkah. This morning, I would like to ask the Brock family to come forward to light our menorah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher kirishanu b'mitzvotzav, vitzivonu lahadli ner shel Chanukah.
Praised are you, our God, ruler of the universe, who made us holy through your commandments and commanded us to kindle the Hanukkah lights.
Good morning. I'd like to invite all of the children and those young at heart to join me this morning up at the rug. Beautiful. Aren't we all? Beautiful. So this time of year, we celebrate so many holidays. Could we maybe name a few? Christmas, Easter, this time of year? Sure, why not? The preparation for Easter, Yule, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, any others? Thanksgiving? Shalaka, Bodhi Day? Prophet's Day? What? Saint Lucille? Epiphany? One of the ones that we also celebrate this time of year is Christmas. And many people may not know, but the Christmas tree came from a Unitarian minister from Germany. When he came to America in 1832, he wanted to surprise his young children who had never seen a Christmas tree. And so he brought one into their house, decorated it with ornaments. So I'm wondering, what's in this box? Does someone want to open it? Yeah, go for it. Let's see what's in it. Probably ornaments. Is it ornaments? It's ornaments. It did. So 1832, the first Christmas tree was lit in Cambridge, Massachusetts, in the United States. And so I'm wondering this morning if we could maybe make our tree look a little less bare. Yeah, so maybe everyone up front, let's grab an ornament, go put it on. And anyone who might want to come and put one on anyway, even if you didn't come up front. The Mhm. There's some hooks right here. You can like take one of these. So while some of our friends are putting ornaments on the tree, I'm wondering what might be missing. Is anything missing from our tree? Lights? Who wants to hit a button? All right. Does the congregation want to count down? So 3, 2, 1. Thank you. And so this year, as we celebrate many holidays, let us remember that ours is a living tradition, a faith that embraces all world religions.
So now is the time when I will sing our three youth. Oh no. It always happens. Oh, is everything okay? Did it break?
One of them broke.
Yeah, be careful. All right. So while Jackson is, and I might have to go get a broom. Now is the time when we sing our youth out to the service. We're going to meet in the high school room. Today is the day, it's the first time in 3 years that we get to celebrate our tradition of holiday stations. And what's going to happen is the children are going to get to click through 3 of the holidays that we tend to celebrate here at the fellowship. We're going to start with Yule, and then we're going to go visit the Christmas station, and then come and visit me in Hanukkah. So that said, are you ready? Thank you, Jackson, for picking up all the glass. Okay. Well done, Reverend Doug. All right. So thank you, Jackson. That was very kind of you. Clean up his mess. Well done. Yeah. All right. Let's sing them out. Is it on? Oh, yeah. All right. Ready? Here we go. You got the light of love within you. Go on your way in peace. So let your light shine. The world awaits you. Go on your way in peace. Small crew only needs to sing that one.
Good morning, beloveds. My name is Johnny Bell Shelton. I serve as your minister in town. My pronouns are they and them. Take a breath with me. Settle the body, the mind, and spirit. You may choose to place your feet firmly on the floor beneath you, connecting to the sacred life force that's all around. What do you notice around you? Are there smells, sights, a warm glow of energy? Perhaps those cold, crisp air as the nights grow darker and longer. Perhaps inward, there's uncertainty wrestling, preparing for family celebrations, all the joy, excitement, and sometimes pain that comes along with it. Know that it is all sacred, that it is all good and holy, that even the noise of Zoom is sacred and holy here and now in these moments, for we are together. Take another breath, beloveds. Settle the mind, the spirit, and when you're ready, arrive, ready to face the uncertainty, knowing that you do not and will not face that uncertainty alone. Come back, beloveds. Come.
A reading from Sophia Leon Fass. Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged. Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies. Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days and fears of unknown calamities. Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness. Some beliefs are divisive, separating saved from unsaved, friends from enemies. Other beliefs are bonds in a world community, where sincere differences beautify the pattern. Some beliefs are like binders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction. Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration.
The theme for the month of December is wonder. I think it's well chosen because wonder comes when you look up at the stars on a dark, cold evening. There's a lot of wonder with all of these holidays that look back and also shape our present. And so what we decided to do for the month of December with our sermon series was to wonder who we will become. So that's the term, that's the title of the series. Wonder who we will become. The first Sunday of the month was wonder who we will become as a world. The second, last Sunday, was who we will become as a community. And today we will be looking at Unitarian Universalism. Wonder who we will become as UUs. Now that's an intriguing question because Unitarian Universalism is in flux right now. I mean, it's always in flux to some degree. It's probably the least static of all religious traditions, but even now it's in flux. And so are we at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Fredericksburg. And basically, so is every church because of coming out of the pandemic. Now, in Roddy, our wonderful intern minister, Roddy Bell Shelton Biggs, mentioned the Article 2 Commission in their November 27th sermon. Does anyone know what that is? You do. Good. Sort of. Well, maybe I will enlighten us because it looks like there isn't a whole lot of knowledge about it yet. Now, I talked about it a little bit last year when we were considering whether to adopt an eighth principle. For those of you who are new to Unitarian Universalism, we have 7 principles that stands as our set of values for what holds us together. And we've had, so we were talking about adding an 8th principle, and we decided to do that anyway, knowing that at the Unitarian Universalist Association level, which is all of our congregations around the world, they get together on an annual basis and they make changes to our Article 2. Article 2 is the part of the bylaws that describes who we are as Unitarian Universalists. If you've ever been a part of an organization, you know that we have bylaws. This fellowship has bylaws. And there is an article that basically describes who you are, what kind of organization you are, and what are your values and your purposes. Well, Article 2 does that for the Unitarian Universalist Association. It's been around as long as there's been a Unitarian Universalists. That was 1961 when the Unitarians and the Universalists merged. And as you can imagine, 2 religions, not exactly alike, but similar enough that they could come together, had to decide, who are we now? And there were a lot of other things to decide when you're pulling 2 religions together, but who are we is a very important question. And so this Article 2 served as that place to figure that out. And it was contentious, took a while, but eventually it became a unifying piece. And it was established in 1961-62. And at that time, we had 6 principles and 5 sources. And it hasn't changed much since then. The last time it changed was in 1987, when we added the 7th principle: respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. And a 6th source was also added, and that's what we have today. It hasn't changed since 1987, even though we're supposed to look at it every 12 to 15 years. And we have tried to change it in the last, since 1987, but some of those efforts did not pass. So it's been basically the same. And most of us know our principles as 7 principles because they guide our actions and our priorities. Well, in 2020, almost 3 years ago, the Unitarian Universalist Association's board charged a commission to go ahead, look at this Article 2 and make some upgrades, update it if it's necessary to reflect who we are now. We are different than we were in 1987. Now, they told this commission to go and talk to everybody you can talk to. Congregations, all the identity groups and organizations of theology like the Unitarian Universalist Humanists, Unitarian Universalist Buddhists, Unitarian Universalist Christians, all these groups. They talked to people who left Unitarian Universalism because they weren't happy here. They talked to people who were new. They talked to everybody, and they had an open channels. While we were talking about the 8th principle, I got some feedback. I sent it to them. And the board told them, do whatever you think is necessary. The number of principles, the number of sources, that's not sacred. That has changed over the years. So but be creative, be inspirational, and whatever you write, do it in a poetic way. Because I think one of the big criticism of our principles and sources is that they're not really creative. They sound like bylaws. So this group went to work, and they have been presenting some of their work since then, but they had a due date to bring their draft to everyone by October of this year, and they did it. And so it's out there. You can look at it on the web, and right now a lot of people are. And the next big deadline is for this draft that they came up with to go to the board of the Unitarian Universalist Association, which will be in January. If they approve it, then it will go to the General Assembly, basically all of us. And in June, we get our first chance to vote on it. And then the next year, in 2024, we'll vote on it again. And if it goes through both of those approvals, then we will have a new Article 2. And this gives us plenty of time to discuss here in our fellowship, like all the other congregations will be doing. Gives us time to kind of settle in and process what they are proposing. No more principles and sources, but they have come up with some pretty intriguing ideas. What they did was they moved from principles to core values. So they've defined, after getting all this input, the core values of the Unitarian Universalist Association. And they came up with 6 core values. I'll be showing it to you on the screen in a moment. 6 core values with one that's like in the middle. It's the central grounding value. Does anyone want to venture what that might be? What would you do? Yes. Free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Okay, it's not it. That's not the center one. It's in there. Yes. Well, those are the current principles. So we're not going to have principles anymore if this passes it, but I'll tell you what it is. Okay, yes. Love. Love is going to be in the center because, yes, Lauren, happiness, but it's love, and love leads to happiness sometimes. But it is love. And they didn't pluck it out of thin air. Love, it was what most people have in their covenants, most congregations have. And but what you will see that's different is that all these new values, I shouldn't say new, all these values are action oriented, as opposed to like high, lofty ideals. Okay, let's see if I can't make that bigger. Well, it's pretty big on my screen. I'm trying. It's big on my screen. Let me see if I turn it this way. Okay. Doesn't look like I'm able to do that. So, oh, there it goes. Okay, very good. So this is what an Article 2, you've seen bylaws if you have, purposes. Who are we? What is our purpose for meeting? Section 2.2 is the values and covenant. I'm going to put that graphic right up there. You see love in the center? And then the other ones are justice, evolution, pluralism, interdependence, equity, generosity, and love in the center. So love, as it says, is the enduring force that holds us together. It inspires and powers the passion with which we embody our values. What are those values? First one is justice. Those of you who were helped vote for the 8th principle will recognize these words. We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all people thrive. You see how that's an action-oriented? We work to. We covenant and dismantle racism and all forms of oppression within individuals and our institutions. We are accountable to each other for this work. So that would be justice. The next one would be generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. I'll move to the next one. Evolution. We adapt to the changing world. And this is definitely what Unitarian Universalists do as liberal faith. We adapt to culture. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Evolution is fundamental to life, and our Unitarian Universalist heritages never complete and never perfect. The next one, pluralism. We celebrate that we all are sacred beings, diverse in culture, theology, and experience. This is where the search for truth and meaning has kind of found a home. The next one is equity. We declare that every person has the right to flourish with dignity and worthiness. And this is where the first principle found its home. And then the 6th one, interdependence. We honor the sacred interdependent web of all existence. With humility, we understand our place in the web. We covenant to care for and respect the earth and all beings by fostering relationships of mutuality. We work to repair the bonds with nature that we have broken. So it's poetic. They tried and they did it. So this is where they propose we go as our articles of who we are, our articles of faith. And those of you who remember the sources, the 6 sources that we draw from for our theologies and our beliefs, that is kind of rolled up into inspirations. Inclusion is saying that all are welcome. And then freedom of belief, very, very, very important for Unitarian Universalists. Nothing herein shall be deemed to infringe upon the individual freedom of belief, which is inherent in the Unitarian Universalist heritages. So there you have it. It's just a brief introduction. And we will have a lot more discussions about it. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. They kind of went bold and they went for it. Now, I'm still processing the draft. Many of us ministers had a retreat in November and we got a chance to look at it. And we were just like you all. Wow, that's a lot of change. I don't know if I like that word. I don't know if I like that word. And and so in this ensuing couple of years, we will have a chance to make amendments and change some things. I just hope we don't wordsmith it to death, but that could happen. But I hope we don't. I hope we take it as a sacred work. But what I do agree with wholeheartedly is having love at the center. There was one of the big reasons why I was there is because there was a study done in 1980s by a religious professor at Tufts University, Robert Miller, and he studied Unitarian Universalism, and he did this survey with all kinds of organizations that were religious and non-religious, and he was asking about values. And the value that came up the highest for Unitarian Universalists was love. And it was way higher than any of the other organizations, both religious and non-religious. Some of them had obedience, surrender, salvation, those kinds of things. Love was what Unitarian Universalists said over and over. It's at the center of almost all of my sermons, if you've been paying attention. It's at the center of my theology. Because I believe that relationships are the foundation for life. If you look at the smallest particle in an atom, you will find in that matter that they are nothing unless they interact with something else. Once there's an interaction, then there is love. So love is a verb, a noun, and a way of being. Now, I have always felt love here, always. I love you all, and I hope that you have felt that love. Because love is what holds this congregation together. It animates our ministry in the world. It's not our budget, how much money we have, our policies, or even our building, as the pandemic has shown us. It's not mushy or fickle or a romanticized kind of love, but a deep respect and authentic presence where we can support each other on our individual and our collective spiritual journeys. With love, you're always negotiating the tension between the self and the community, because that's basically what love is. It's the equilibrium between being a separated self and being part of a collective community, a world, a universe. Love is not static. It shifts, it moves, it teeters up and down like a seesaw. And like family, we sometimes squabble, right? Sometimes some of us might feel neglected or mistreated, but we always have a deep compassion for each other and a generous spirit for each other's well-being. Now, we are here because we all feel a deep sense of belonging. I am here because you chose me, and I chose you 7.5 years ago. So my role is different than everyone else's. I am charged to be the spiritual leader, to guide our ministries and to counsel our elected leaders. That's in our bylaws and in my letter of agreement and just basically my job. But I can't do any of that if I don't listen deeply to each one of you when you have a concern about me or anything else. Well, lately, some people in the congregation have said to me and to others that they feel like I'm not listening, or at least not listening enough. That I don't avail myself to feedback, especially negative feedback, critical feedback, or to alternative suggestions. There's truth in that, and I am truly, truly sorry that I have behaved that way. At times, hearing critical feedback is tough. And so I no doubt have shut some people down. So I am sorry. I can do better. And I commit to doing better. After all, and I tell this to all the couples that I counsel, communication is critical in every relationship, especially deep listening. Without it, love withers. Now, I am speaking directly to you and to those on Zoom, and I will endeavor to do this always. So let us all do that in the spirit of love. The late Reverend Walter Brayman, the minister who preceded me here, he said in his departing sermon that we must talk with each other, not about each other. We must talk with each other, not about each other. In his wisdom, he knew that rumors and triangulation have no place in a loving community. Now, usually they start as an assumption, but without checking with the subject, they can spiral into destructive rumors. And I have been the subject of false rumors in my capacity as the minister, and yes, it does hurt. Just as my failure to listen with an open heart hurts the community as a whole. So if I act in my role as a minister and you have an opinion, either positive or negative, please share it with me, please. I want to know it. And if I say something up here that offends you, please tell me. I'm up here a lot. I say a lot of words. I'm bound to put my foot in my mouth. Please help me get it out of it. I want to know how I impact you so I can repair our relationship whenever it is strained. And I promise to collaborate with, to consult, and to involve as many people as is feasible when making decisions, especially with those in leadership, our staff, our board, and our committee chairs, and also with any individuals who might be affected. Because ministry must be shared by all of us to be effective. And communication must be transparent for trust and love to flourish. And that's communication in all directions, from me to the congregation, from the congregation to me, and from the congregation to itself. And when we do speak with each other, let's remember to think before we speak. Let's practice think. THINK. Ask yourself these words before you're getting ready to send that email or to give that feedback that hasn't, or to write something in the newsletter, whatever it may be. Think of these. Is it thoughtful? Is it honest? Is it inspirational, meaning helping the group move forward? Is it necessary? And is it kind? THINK. Thoughtful, honest, inspirational, necessary, and kind. Because when we think before we speak, we will all experience community more meaningfully. Now that we are almost fully back together from the pandemic, I hope we can all commit to open, honest, and thoughtful communication. I will do my part to the best of my abilities. But if I fail, please let me know directly. And I will do the same for you, because that is love in action. That is putting love in the center. Now, I have heard from some of you that we should have listening circles to freely discuss our concerns, but at the same time, our dreams, and to explore who we are and where we want to be and who we want to be as a covenantal community grounded in love. I think that is a grand idea, and I fully support it. So please let me or any of the trustees and our board know if you want to be involved in coordinating and facilitating these listening circles. I envision we'll be doing those in the next year, in 2023. There's a lot going on around here as we discover who we are becoming. And there's new and exciting ways to get involved here and to serve our greater community. Now, so the answer to wonder who we will become as UUs and as UUFF, well, it's not a linear process, so I can't give you the answer. We're always becoming as we grow and evolve and change. And we will have disagreements along the way, because that's a necessary part of love and life. This goes for our fellowship as well as the UUA. But from time to time, when we find ourselves in flux, it is good to assess who we are, to identify our core values, our mission, and our vision, and to act accordingly. As our fellowship's vision states, let us be a catalyst for social justice and spiritual growth, with service as our guide and love at its core. That's our vision. Let us start now by trusting one another with open and honest communication. Let us listen deeply so that we may love deeply. May it be so. And as part of that, listening and sharing, if anybody would like to comment with a reflection that has come up within you to share with us, raise your hand and we'll bring a microphone. We have one here in the front. Jenny.
I'm really impressed by how personal your presentation was. Very courageous, very loving. It occurs to me that you frequently invited us to communicate our concerns and annoyances and so forth. And so I thought I would add that we can also communicate when we like something and when it's a plus, and that you are inspirational. I can't help but think that, switching topics just a little bit, as you were talking about what's changing in the discussion about the chapter 2, that's a more challenging kind of content, and that is likely to put off some people, but I'm hoping it will attract good people. And the last thing that kept going through my thoughts as I was listening, and I hope I can remember the phrases, but that was encouraging us to listen deeply and to be fully present when we're with people. And I think that's very valuable.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
During the offertory, you are invited to come forward and silently place a pebble into the bowl of water for any joys and concerns that you are holding in your heart. The ministries of this fellowship continue to wholly depend on the generosity of spirit from our friends and members. If you are online, we encourage you to donate via text message or by visiting our website and using the online donation form on our homepage. We will post the text number and link in the chat and on the screen. Greeters will also be coming around with a basket for in-person donations. May all that has been shared and freely given here help us to grow in generosity and caring for the world of which we are a part.
Morning, everybody. I'm Steve Elstein. I'm a member of the pastoral care team. We strive to be a caring community, and as such, we invite members and friends and visitors to share personal matters. Let's take a few moments and be quietly present with the concerns and joys both spoken today and those which may have remained unspoken.
We ran over and my battery died. There we go. Before we say our closing words, I do want to remind everybody that we will be having a Christmas Eve service here at the fellowship on Saturday night, Christmas Eve at 7:30. And we will not have a Sunday, Christmas Day service. So our next service will be Christmas Eve. I hope to see all of you here that night. We are a plural faith of diverse beliefs and faith traditions. As we celebrate the holidays, may we be messengers of generosity, of peace and love to all whom we encounter. Let us be a community that trusts one another through open and honest communication. Beloved community starts with each of us. May we be a beacon of light for the world. Go in peace, serve the world, and do return in love.
And our closing hymn is number 1063 in the Teal hymnal, Winter Solstice Chant. And I think Karen's going to play it through once, right? So you can get familiar with it a little bit. Children of the earth, we have come to sing to each other, sister to brother, songs of our mother. Children of the earth, autumn soon will breathe her last breath, and quick will her death bear witness to winter's birth. Children of the earth, can you feel the air getting cold as darkness takes hold and sleep covers mother? Children of the earth, we have come to sit in the darkness, breathe in the silence, think of our mothers.
Please join me in reading in unison our words for extinguishing the chalice found on the screen. See, it's getting better. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of love and service. May it be a catalyst for spiritual growth and social justice as we carry it outside these walls to the world we live in until we are together again.